Are today's aeroplanes faster than those of 10 years ago?
Yes. Today's aeroplanes are twice as fast as those of 10 years ago.
Are today's aeroplanes more inexpensive than those of 10 years ago?
No, they are more expensive.
Lesson 47 and 48.
What does everyday English mean?
It means the language which is spoken by most people in everyday conversation.
Is the first half of the course the most difficult one?
Yes, it is.
Have you been able to play back the cassettes as many times as you wanted?
Yes, I have.
Is there a complete list of irregular verbs in the book?
Yes, there is.
Are there a certain number of new words in this test?
Yes, there are. Lesson 49. How many painters were there?
There were 3 painters.
Which was their favorite subject of conversation?
Their favorite subject was painting.
What did the first painter say?
The first painter said that once he had to paint a small piece of wood in imitation of marble, and he did it so well that when by mistake it dropped into the water, immediately it sank to the bottom.
What did the second painter say?
The second painter said that he painted a picture of a snowy landscape, and when he hung it on the wall, the thermometer dropped to 20 degrees below freezing point.
What did the third painter say?
The third painter said that he painted the portrait of a man which was so realistic that since the day he finished, it had to be shaved every day.
Do you believe what they said?
No, I don't believe what they said.
Lesson 50.
Where was the man of the house sitting?
The man of the house was sitting on the doorstep.
Was Henry's family life happy?
No, it was not.
Was Henry's wife a nice woman?
No, she was not.
What did John ask Henry?
John asked Henry what the matter was.
Did Henry's wife give John a hearty welcome when he walked into the house?
No, she did not.
Did she notice it was John who came in, or did she think that her husband had come back?
She thought that her husband had come back. Lesson 51. About how many guests will there be for Mary's birthday?
There will be about 25 guests.
Where is Mary going to get more chairs from?
She will get them from her next-door neighbor.
What will Mary do if the drinks are not enough?
She will buy some more from the pub just around the corner.
Are any of Tom's friends invited to the party?
2 of Tom's friends are invited.
Did Mary worry too much?
No, she did not.
Lesson 52.
How long had Mary had this pain?
Mary had had this pain for more than a week.
Why did she have to take a sedative in order to sleep?
She had to take a sedative in order to sleep because the pain was persistent.
Was Mary afraid of doctors?
Yes, she was.
In Mary's opinion, what do doctors feed people?
In Mary's opinion, doctors feed people revolting liquids.
What did Michael tell Mary about doctors?
Michael told Mary that doctors are not there to make our lives difficult, and their aim is to save us a lot of trouble. Lesson 53. How long had Mary been in hospital?
Mary had been in hospital for just over a week.
What did Dr. Coleman diagnose?
Dr. Coleman diagnosed an acute appendicitis.
What would have happened if she hadn't called the doctor in time?
If she hadn't called the doctor in time, her case would have been very serious.
How did Mary feel?
She felt a little weak.
How many days sick leave was she given?
She was given about 20 days sick leave.
Did Mr. Armstrong go to see Mary in hospital?
Yes, he did.
Lesson 54.
Why did the four Scotsmen frequent inexpensive restaurants?
The four Scotsmen frequented inexpensive restaurants because they were very stingy.
What was their agreement?
Their agreement was that they would pay in terms.
Had any of the four Scotsmen been in that restaurant before?
No, none of them had.
Whose turn was it to pay the bill that night?
It was Mac's turn.
Did Mac really have tummy trouble?
No, he didn't.
What did the other Scotsmen order?
They ordered only the best, plus some French wine and strawberries with whipped cream. Lesson 55. Is the cinema a popular entertainment?
Yes, it is.
Is it an expensive one?
No, it is not.
When and where was a film projected for the first time?
A film was projected for the first time in Paris on the 28th of December, 1895.
What is the principle on which it is based?
The principle on which it is based is the persistence of vision.
How much money has been invested in the American film industry?
Nearly $3 billion have been invested.
Is Hollywood a well-known city?
Yes, it is.
Lesson 56.
Has television brought any change to family life?
Yes, it has.
Is television an expensive entertainment?
No, it is not.
Are television actors as well known as cinema actors?
Television actors are just as well known as cinema actors, if not more so.
When did television become widespread?
Television became widespread after the last war.
How do most of the TV stations make their money?
Most of the TV stations make their money by advertising.
When and where did experimental demonstrations take place?
Experimental demonstrations took place in England as early as 1926. Lesson 57. What was the present Mary got from her brother?
She got a complete course of Italian in cassettes and books.
What was the present Mary got from Michael?
She got some perfume.
How did Michael know Mary's favorite perfume?
She had told him about it when he had asked her a few months before.
Where did Mary and Michael decide to go after they had seen the Italian film?
They decided to go to Italy.
Why couldn't Michael's colleague find a hotel easily?
Michael's colleague couldn't find a hotel easily because he didn't know the word albergo.
Did he find a hotel in the end?
Yes, he did.
Lesson 58.
When did Mary's brother become keen on going to Spain?
He became keen on going to Spain when he read about the Costa Brava, Valencia, and all the beautiful seaside resorts.
Where are Mary, Michael, and George going for their vacation?
They are going to Italy.
Can George take his leave at any time during the summer?
Yes, he can.
What time of the year are they going?
They are going in summer.
Is Michael's passport valid?
Yes, it is.
Did George agree to go with the others to Italy?
Yes, he did. Lesson 59. Do bartenders meet a lot of people?
Yes, they do.
What is the bartender's golden rule?
The bartender's golden rule is that the customer is always right.
What did the customer ask the bartender?
He asked him to give him a cheese sandwich and a whiskey.
Why couldn't the bartender make a sandwich?
He couldn't make a sandwich because he was out of bread.
Was the bartender angry with the customer?
Yes, he was.
Did the bartender find his friend understanding?
No, he did not.
Lesson 60.
What is the success of a commercial enterprise based on?
The success of a commercial enterprise is based on how well the public knows its product.
Is advertising a modern thing?
No, it is ancient.
How much money was spent on advertising in Britain in 1955?
£300 million was spent.
Is advertising through television gaining ground?
Yes, it is gaining ground rapidly.
Does television advertising pay?
Yes, it does.
Are men more susceptible to advertising than women?
No, they are not. Lesson 61. When and where did the Titanic sink?
The Titanic sank on the 14th of April 1912 in the North Atlantic.
How many passengers was the Titanic carrying?
She was carrying 2,206 passengers.
What was the captain of the Titanic hoping?
He was hoping to break the speed record for that particular route.
What did the Titanic strike?
She struck an enormous iceberg.
How many hours after the collision did the Titanic sink?
She sank 3 hours after the collision.
How many people perished?
1,500 people perished.
Lesson 62.
Is Vesuvius still active?
Yes, it is.
Are there many other active volcanoes?
Yes, there are, but not all of them are active.
Were volcanic eruptions in New Zealand disastrous?
Yes, they were.
Which was the biggest eruption in history?
It was the Krakatau eruption.
How far away was the explosion heard?
It was heard 3,000 miles away.
Why is Vesuvius a famous volcano?
Vesuvius is a famous volcano because it destroyed Pompeii. Lesson 63. Where was Reuter born?
He was born in Germany.
How did Reuter start his career?
He started his career as a bank clerk.
How old was Reuter when he started his own news agency?
He was 39 years old.
How did he transmit the news at first?
At first, he transmitted the news by pigeons.
What title was he given?
He was given the title of Baron.
How old was he when he died?
He was 83 when he died.
Lesson 64.
Which is the most amazing city in the world?
The most amazing city in the world is New York.
What is the island of Manhattan?
The island of Manhattan is the center of New York.
Which is the financial and commercial metropolis of the United States?
New York is.
How much was Manhattan bought for?
It was bought for $24.
Whom was it bought from?
It was bought from the Indians.
Which city has the largest taxi fleet?
New York has the largest taxi fleet. Lesson 65. Who walked into the barber's shop?
A man and a small boy walked into the barber's shop.
Was the man a good customer of that barber's shop?
No, he was not a good customer.
What did the man ask the barber to do?
He asked the barber to give him a haircut, a shampoo, a massage, and a shave.
What was the boy to him?
He was just a boy he met on the street.
Where did he meet the boy?
He met the boy on the street.
What did the man say to the boy?
The man said to the boy, "Come on, let's have our hair cut for nothing."
Lesson 66.
What was the book Mary was reading?
It was a book about astronomy.
Had Mary got any previous knowledge of astronomy?
No, she had not.
Had Michael read that book?
No, he had not.
Is Michael interested in what the book says?
Yes, he is interested.
Does he know what goes on in the sky?
No, he does not.
What did Michael ask Mary to give him?
He asked Mary to give him a lecture on astronomy. Lesson 67. Why did Mary call off their dinner appointment?
She called off their dinner appointment because she felt she should be near Margaret when she called her.
Is Margaret's baby a boy?
No, it is a girl.
Does the baby look like her father?
No, she looks like her mother.
What job is Margaret's husband doing?
He is chief officer on a tanker.
Where is the ship going?
The ship is going to the Persian Gulf.
Did Mary send Margaret's husband a radio telegram?
Yes, she did.
Lesson 68.
What did Michael ask Mary to take with her?
He asked her to take some warm clothes with her.
What is the weather like on those mountains?
The weather is unreliable on those mountains, especially during the early summer.
What did Michael say about his old friend John?
He said that John, who needed to travel very light, always needed to buy something at his destination.
What does travelling light mean?
It means traveling with very little luggage or none at all.
Does travelling light have its advantages?
Yes, it does.
Where did Mary and Michael decide to go that night?
They decided to go to the cinema. Lesson 69. Did Mary's parents like music?
Yes, they did.
Had Mary got many records?
She had.
What kind of music can one find in Mary's collection?
One can find any kind of music in Mary's collection.
Did Mary notice a lot of difference between the old records and the new ones?
Yes, she did.
What does one feel with the new records?
With the new records, one feels as if the singer or the orchestra is in the same room.
Are the old records valuable?
Yes, they are.
Lesson 70.
When did Michael give up his hobby?
He gave up his hobby when he moved from the old house to the new flat.
Is photography an inexpensive hobby?
No, it is an expensive hobby.
Has Michael got his own dark room now?
No, he has not got his own dark room now.
Does Mary want her own dark room?
No, she does not.
What is film developing bad for?
It is bad for the fingernails.
Does the developing and printing of coloured photographs cost less than black and white ones?
No, the developing and printing of coloured photographs costs much more than black and white ones. Lesson 71. Has Michael been losing weight?
Yes, he has.
How much longer is Michael going to be so busy?
He is going to be so busy for 2 more weeks.
Are there many reports to be submitted?
Yes, there are.
Were all Michael's colleagues busy?
Yes, they were.
When is Michael going on a fishing excursion?
He is going on a fishing excursion in 2 weeks' time.
Was Mary worrying a great deal?
Yes, she was.
Lesson 72.
Was anybody hurt in the accident?
No, nobody was hurt.
Was there a lot of damage done to the bus?
No, there was not.
Whose fault was it?
It was the bus driver's fault.
What should the bus driver have done before he came into the main street?
He should have stopped to check if it was free from traffic.
Who is going to pay for the damage to the car?
The insurance company is going to pay for it.
Has the bus company insured its buses?
Yes, the bus company has insured its buses. Lesson 73. What did the manager of the circus do in order to get rid of some of the animals?
He set a date for an auction which was announced to the public.
Were the farmers interested in ferocious animals?
No, they were interested in harmless animals that could live on a farm.
Was the tiger a tame animal?
No, it was not.
How many people were interested in the tiger?
Only the old man was interested.
Could that tiger live on a farm?
No, it could not.
Whom did the tiger remind the old man of?
The tiger reminded him of his wife.
Lesson 74.
What is Mr. Milton applying for?
Mr. Milton is applying for the position of assistant chemist.
Did Mr. Milton enclose any letters of recommendation?
Yes, he did.
Who knows him personally?
Mr. Travis does.
What time is the Western Airlines flight leaving for Madrid?
The Western Airlines flight is leaving for Madrid at noon.
At what time does the non-stop flight arrive in Madrid?
It arrives at 1400 hours. Lesson 75. What did the clergyman do when he came to the village?
He took a strong interest in all the black sheep of the village.
Where did the drunkard spend most of his time?
He spent most of his time in the local pub.
What time of the day was the prayer meeting being conducted?
The prayer meeting was being conducted in the evening.
Was the priest glad to see the drunkard? walking into the church?
Yes, he was.
Did the old man sit through the meeting?
Yes, he did.
Why was the old drunkard glad?
He was glad because he now knew where he had spent his time after leaving the pub.
Lesson 76.
Did Michael enjoy himself in Paris?
Yes, he did.
Was Michael lucky with the weather in Paris?
Yes, he was.
How much time did he spend in the Louvre?
He spent a whole morning there.
Did Michael see the Arch of Triumph?
Yes, he did.
Did he take any pictures?
Yes, he did.
Does Mary have a clear memory of the Eiffel Tower?
No, she only has a vague memory of it. Lesson 77. How long were the repairs to the damaged cable going to last?
They were expected to last all night.
What happened to the lorry?
It plunged 15 feet from the road.
Was anybody injured?
An officer and 23 soldiers of the 1st Battalion Royal Scots were slightly injured.
What sort of fumes overcame the members of the church congregation?
Carbon monoxide fumes overcame them.
Who saved the dog's life?
2 policemen saved the dog's life.
Whom had the dog roused?
The dog had roused Mr. John Maher, his wife and son, when a suit caught fire.
Lesson 78.
What is planned for Hertfordshire?
A university of technology with emphasis on science, arts and business studies is planned for Hertfordshire.
Which committee will consider the report?
The County Education Committee will consider the report.
What does the report state?
The report states that the governors of Hatfield College of Technology have recommended that the college should form part of the new university.
Who owns the 240-acre site?
The county council owns it.
Who arrived in Mexico?
Queen Juliana, Prince Bernhard, and Princess Beatrix, accompanied by Mr. Lunds and the Dutch Foreign Minister, arrived in Mexico.
How long is the Dutch Queen going to stay in Mexico?
She will stay for a week. Lesson 79. How long has the account been overdue?
It has been overdue for 5 months.
What was the number of the invoice?
The number of the invoice was 859.
What did J.B. Smith & Sons ask Mr. Charles Hutton?
They asked him to send them by return of mail his remittance for the amount due.
Are Johnson and Company going to pay cash for the silk?
Yes, they are.
How soon do they want the samples?
They want the samples at the other firm's earliest convenience.
What kind of samples did Johnson and Company ask for?
They asked for samples of artificial and watered silk.
Lesson 80.
What does Billy Graham want?
He wants us to put down our pride and become humble.
Who is Billy Graham?
He is an internationally famous evangelist.
According to Graham, to whom does God give grace?
According to Graham, God gives grace only to the humble.
What does to humble yourself mean?
It means to oppose self, to abase self, to break your stubborn will, and to expose self by confessing faults and acknowledging wrongs.
Are Graham's speeches difficult?
No, they are not. Lesson 81. Whom did they search for in the river?
They searched for the driver of a diesel engine which plunged into the river from the Tay Road Bridge workings.
What was the name of the missing man?
His name was Mr. Benjamin Bowness.
What did the driver do?
The driver surfaced and shouted that he was all right.
What did a workmate do?
He sent a message to the two ferryboats which had just crossed in midstream.
Who came to rescue the driver?
The bridge rescue launch, the launch from the Tay Railway Bridge, two ferryboats, a lifeboat and a helicopter came to rescue the driver.
Did they find the driver?
No, they did not.
Lesson 82.
What time is Florence expecting Mary and Michael to come?
She expects them to be there by 8.
Is Michael hungry?
No, not very.
Does Mary mind Michael's presence in the kitchen?
No, she does not.
Is Michael interested in cooking?
Yes, he is.
What ingredients does Michael put in his omelette besides eggs?
He puts in cheese and an assortment of vegetables.
What are Danish sandwiches?
They are open sandwiches topped by all kinds of enticing tidbits. Lesson 83. Has Michael read the weather forecast?
No, he has not.
What does the weather forecast say?
It forecasts thunderstorms for the weekend.
does Michael believe that the forecast is wrong?
No, he does not.
Are weather forecasts usually right?
Yes, they are.
Have Michael and Mary got an alternative plan?
Yes, they have.
What else do they think they could do?
They could spend the weekend at Mary's aunt's farm.
Lesson 84.
Was Mary tired?
Yes, she was.
What did Mary buy?
She bought some meat, a lot of groceries, and some fruit.
Why didn't Mary go to the supermarket to shop?
She didn't go to the supermarket because she got much better service from other shops.
Are supermarkets practical?
Yes, they are.
What did Michael want to buy from the bakery?
He wanted to buy some bread and biscuits.
What did Michael do when he found out that he had no money on him?
He apologized and started to leave without buying anything. Lesson 85. What sort of books did Anderson write?
He wrote stories for children.
Where was Anderson born and when?
He was born in the town of Odense in 1805.
How old was Anderson when his father died?
He was 11 years old when his father died.
What was Anderson's intention when he started for the Danish capital?
His intention was to become an opera singer.
Who became interested in him?
The king himself became interested in him.
When was his first book of stories and poems published?
His first book of stories and poems was published in 1830.
Lesson 86.
Did Michael have a good time at the reunion of his old classmates?
Yes, he did.
How many were not present at the reunion?
3 were not present.
How many doctors were there?
There were 3 doctors.
What was the name of the detective?
The name of the detective was Jim Evans.
Are detectives supposed to look like policemen?
No, they are not.
Who was the center of everybody's attention for most of the evening?
Jim Evans was. Lesson 87. Did the other fellows believe George's stories?
No, they did not.
Did Mary believe George?
No, she did not.
Who used to tell them incredible war stories?
Mary's uncle used to tell them incredible war stories.
Did anybody believe him?
No, nobody did.
Did Mary's uncle carry on telling them?
Yes, he did.
Does Michael want to let Tom down?
No, he does not.
Lesson 88.
Was Roy a good swimmer?
Yes, he was.
What did Susan tell Mary?
She told her that Roy Turner was going to swim across the English Channel.
Did Mary know that Roy was a good swimmer?
No, she did not.
Had Roy been training for the Channel crossing?
Yes, he had been training for months.
Was Roy in good shape?
Yes, he was.
Has the English Channel many currents?
Yes, it has. Lesson 89. What did Alex tell Michael?
He told him that all the hotels had been booked far in advance and the chances were very poor of finding a decent place to sleep.
With whom did Mary spend Easter Sunday 4 years ago?
4 years ago, she spent Easter Sunday with her sister.
Where did Mary and her sister spend Easter Sunday 4 years ago?
They spent their Easter Sunday in a small cafe.
Did Mary and her sister find a place to sleep?
No, they did not.
Did they have a good time?
No, they did not.
Did Mary like the idea of going to Dorothy's the following weekend?
Yes, she did.
Lesson 90.
Why is Mary going to make a speech?
She is going to make a speech because it is customary for one of the members of the board to make a speech every Christmas.
Is she scared?
Yes, she is.
What advice did Michael give her?
He advised her to pull herself together and face the public with a lot of confidence in herself.
What is Mary intending to talk about?
She is intending to talk about Christmas.
Did Michael like Mary's speech?
Yes, he did.
Did Michael ask Mary for an invitation?
Yes, he did. Lesson 91. What is the compass?
The compass is an instrument for determining the magnetic north and its angle to a given direction.
What is the compass mainly used for?
It is mainly used to direct ships at sea.
How did seamen navigate before the introduction of the compass?
They navigated by the sun and the stars.
What sort of compass is used on aeroplanes?
A gyroscopic compass is used on aeroplanes.
Does the compass always point to the geographic North Pole?
No, it does not.
Is the compass a Chinese invention?
Yes, it is.
Lesson 92.
Was the bar a clean one?
No, it wasn't.
What did the Irishman order?
He ordered a whiskey.
What did the Irishman do when he saw the fly in his glass?
He drank his whisky, fly and all.
What did the Scotchman do when he saw the fly in his glass?
He squeezed the fly over the glass, put it in the ashtray, and drank the whisky.
What did the Englishman do when he saw the fly in his glass?
He told the waiter to take the glass away and to bring him another whisky with no flies in it.
What did the Italian do when he saw the fly in his glass?
He took the fly out of the glass with his left hand, then took the glass with his right hand, drank half of his drink, then put the fly back in the glass and said, "Waiter, there's a fly in my whisky. Bring me another one quickly." Lessons 93-94. What was Jonathan Filkinsmith's job at a very young age?
His job was selling newspapers.
Why did he sell newspapers?
He sold newspapers to support himself and his mother, who was a widow.
Where did Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Filkinsmith go on a cruise?
They went to the Caribbean islands.
What did the purser tell him on the second day of the cruise?
He told him that he and Mrs. Filkinsmith were going to dine at the captain's table.
Was Mr. Filkinsmith offended?
Yes, he was.
Did the other couple understand English?
No, they did not.
Lessons 95-96.
Should the reader be able to converse freely by now?
Yes, he should.
What must the reader do if there are lessons that he hasn't learnt?
He must go back to them, brush up his vocabulary, and thus refresh his memory.
Is the human memory as perfect as we would like it to be?
No, it isn't.
What kind of films should the reader see?
He should see English-speaking films, but make an effort not to read the subtitles.
Must the reader seek opportunities to speak English?
Yes, he must.
Does special terminology need special study?
Yes, it does. Lesson 97. Is it high time for the reader to acquire some knowledge of English literature?
Yes, it is.
What will the reader find at the top of each lesson?
He will find a brief introduction concerning the text.
Have there been remarkable achievements in literary production in England?
Yes, there have.
Was Shakespeare an Englishman?
Yes, he was.
Who wrote the play we are going to begin with?
Oscar Wilde did.
Was Milton a Frenchman?
No, he was an Englishman.